Okay, good morning, everybody. This is a live shot of the front garden. That should be working. It's showing green on my end. And hopefully you can hear me. Welcome. Oh, I think I'm pushing my own volume button in the tripod. Trying to give you a pretty shot. We've got over here the Queen's wreath just kind of arching over. And then beyond that, a flower bed that I'm working on. So I'm going to grab my coffee and then I'm going to turn on the hose because we've got to do the morning routine, basically. See how things are looking this morning. I've got a jacaranda bloom stuck in my coffee cup. It's a really pretty morning. I had to get up and out of bed, even though I stayed up way too late scrolling the internet last night, which is something I don't usually try to do at bedtime, but I don't know. I must have needed more decompress time or something because I just kept finding myself looking at something to relax too. Okay. What do you like to watch at night when you're trying to relax? I used to do like to watch some YouTubes of Guy Tang when he would do his blonding, his hair blonding. I like to watch those YouTubes. They're really satisfying. But now these days I've been more looking at like garden inspo, time lapses of different flowers. Yeah, this broken nozzle is going off the rails over here by itself. So yeah, in this front bed, I have a rose pachira. It's a yellow rose. Then there's a pachira, right? Then a red rose. And then last fall, I bought from Eden Brothers, I think, a bunch of lily bulbs. It was like 40 days of lilies or something. And they don't look too happy now, but it's getting hot and they already bloomed. So I will have to research a little more on what to do to take care of those. But I'm hoping they'll just come back up from the bulbs next year. Then I've got a bunch of Shasta daisies that are babies because they are biennial. They take like 2 years to really do their thing, but some of them might have been stunted just because the conditions out here were not perfect for them. And then there's another like clump here that I'm just really hoping will send me a flower spike because gosh, I really like to see that. And I tried so hard with those because for 2 years I scattered like a big packet of them and they're not fully for this zone. So, oh, this is lovely. There's a dahlia blooming over here and I cut off the dead one, like the spent bloom on the center stalk. And then I think it's probably made the plant a lot happier because there's two more like pods, like what do you call them? Buds? Yeah, there's two more dahlia buds. They're getting ready to open. One is starting to open already. And that's just the loveliest time. Like when the flower first opens, it has like a richer color usually. Oh my gosh, hang on. This host give me hard time. I might have to go set down my coffee because I keep spilling it. But I'd like to have more than a sip to get my day started. I've been having a runny nose this morning. Don't like that. And then I had a stuffy nose last night. So some kind of, I don't know, reaction. Allergens. I did a lot of cleaning yesterday. All day long, I cleaned. And it was actually really nice to wake up to a cleaner house this morning. I usually just thrive in like an organized chaos, but I love when there's a place for everything and everything in its place. I do. Very nice. Okay, so on this one, I want to go buy some more dirt, I think. And I know you'd say I've already got enough cosmos going on, but I would like to, for the summertime, get another pack of like the bulk cosmos seeds. Which, because I think it would be really nice to just start raking a little bit and scattering those seeds, and where the ground is roughed up they'll start growing, um, to fill in some of these empty patches. The other plants that I'm kind of working on as fillers, well, cosmos is really my go-to, but zinnias, and I've got some zinnia seeds. And these zinnias over here are looking kind of drab. Like, I don't know why. Maybe I was watering the leaves, but lots of my zinnias this time around had powdery mildew, and I've been trying not to water the leaves, but sometimes I don't know, maybe it's just inevitable or mm. We did have some rain too, so I don't know. But also, this bed, I'd really rather line up with like a drip um, lane because I'd really rather not, yeah, get the leaves and then set it and forget it would be nice. Oh, another filler flower that I've been working with right now are marigolds because I got these African marigold bulk package uh, maybe a couple years ago. And I used so many of those seeds, and then there's still so many more. So it's crazy because they really do um, give you a lot of seeds. And then, like right now, is the time to get them in the ground if you want them for the fall, like Day of the Dead. And then there's some over here that, for some reason, there's like a branch that doesn't look good and a bud that's spent that I need to come in with a scissor for. But yeah, this is an area that I'm just working on creating some big flower activity. So the Tithonia has been striking because I initially envisioned zinnias, and I still will do some more zinnias. But when it hit me like the time of year, I was still dealing with some other stuff that I had just purchased, like bulbs. I had the gladiolus corms and the dahlias, and I didn't even think I was really going to do dahlias. Well, I wanted to, but I didn't buy them off of a website or anything like that. So then when I saw them at the box stores, I just grabbed them. And actually, what was more fun, like this year, was the Aldi bulb section. They have these Eucanops, or gosh, I don't know. I'm butchering how to say that. I don't even know what that plant is, but it's like these blue looking spiky spires that come up. And I think they'll perennialize. So I missed out on getting those, but I'd like to try some of that kind of flower next year. So, anyways, back to this um, bed at the base of the Quinceana. I wanted to see a bunch of flowers when I drive down the road, and I wasn't able to do that. Yeah, I'm going to come out right now and put like some zinnia seeds in this patch and give it like a good water, and then I'll come out with my hand rake and kind of rough things up and see if I could scatter some seeds right here of different, maybe some different ones that I could find inside. Got like my seed box getting kind of destroyed too because the other day Rose had one of my seed tins where it's like an old butter cookies. I've got some seeds, and I think they're artichoke seeds, but there's so many little, like bigger than usual, but like little round seeds in my tin now. Okay, and then over here, I'm okay. Wasted YTB. Oh, said hi. Rio Django said hi. Hi. Thank you for joining the live today. We're in a kind of slower moment. I'm just stepped off to the side. I'm having a sip of my coffee. I do really like this view from the porch. And I don't have the fountain going yet, or not fountain, bird bath. And thanks for the like. That's pretty nice. Yeah. I'm a little worried to set my coffee down because I've got morning, like little morning bugs. I don't know. I'm gonna sit it on Adam's car. Oh, I think I had it up here. Hmm. One more swig, and then let's go. Oh, I'm really drowning over here. This flower bed because the hose doesn't stop. I don't know. I tried to adjust the nozzle. I couldn't really get it. This is great though. Yesterday was the normal trash day, but because of the holiday, they didn't come. And so I got even more trash out than I normally would have. And I like that feeling. I like it when you clean out the garage or you clean out the back porch or you go into your teenage son's rooms and find like a pizza box under the bed. But I did such a massive cleaning yesterday, and then it felt a lot better in the space. And it's just inevitable you're going to get a lot of stuff when you have like a baby because we have so many toys. And that is such a blessing to be able to say that. But I was thrifting them at Goodwill, and just anytime I'd see like a puzzle or cards or blocks, I'd get for $1 and books. And so before you know it, like, because Aldi is right next to Goodwill for some reason. And so whenever I try to go, whenever I go into Aldi for a grocery run or anything, I will also then stop into Goodwill. And that's usually just like a fun little mooch around because I check the books, the children's books. Sometimes I will get into the clothes. I usually like looking at the kids, like Rosie size clothes more than my own size, although I have found a few pieces that I do like wearing for myself. And then um, I think we have pretty good Goodwill here. I'm trying to see if I can get my solar bird bath to do, but I have not had much faith in that. And that was actually why I picked that bird bath over the other ones that didn't have that. But it just seems like it doesn't find the water right. It's just like a gimmick to sell more bird bath. I don't know. A fountain would be where it's at. And I do still like the water feature aspect of it because it's better when it's like a movement of water. But I was reading about like feng shui, they say um, put some water in the front of your home. And that's too why you see like a bunch of, like anytime you see like a mansion, it'll have a fountain in the front. And that's because it's like a wealth magnet, brings prosperity when you put some water. So even a dish like I've got is fine. And in the back, I put an old pie dish that I thrifted from Goodwill as a little bird water station because, especially during these times where we have not had rain, we get the canal right behind them, kind of not exaggerating, because it's hot and it has been kind of brutal out here on Memorial Day weekend. I spent a lot of time outside and I did almost get some kind of I don't want to say sunstroke, but some kind of heat exhaustion because that happens to me. I also heard about this thing, I think it's called Max, MACS, where it's like a histamine reaction that your body produces when you get overheated. There's some people who have that, and then they might also have other disorders too. But one of the indicators is like if you took your fingernail and just kind of like grazed it into your skin, would it leave like a mark? And when I was a kid, I used to do that in school as like a, you know, cool girl trick. Like a kid, it was like, whoa, look what happens. Like I could write my name and my whole skin would just turn, like wherever I wrote my name, it would change color there. I don't know how I figured it out, but like I was always like, let me show you this. Not always like, but found myself as a little kid doing that. And then another one of the indicators of that was if you get like very, very almost exaggerated redness from exercise. And um, when I would exercise as like a kid, my whole face would turn tomato red, lobster red. But now I'm kind of learning that that was a histamine reaction. And I don't know what that means for my overall health, but sometimes you think, you're weird, but you're just like unique and special like everyone else. Because there are people who have this like documented medical condition that other people don't seem to have a problem with. You know what I mean? That would be the marker. Because it's like, well, could everybody write their name into their skin? Does everybody turn beet red when they exercise? I guess I still probably have that. I'm pretty suntanned now for my skin type. My family up north, when I visit them, they have a totally different complexion because I spent 20 years baking in the hot sun here. Well, they didn't. I'm coming around this side one more time because I'm happy with these Cosmos. I think I pinched them out already. There's a couple in there that maybe I didn't, so I'm going to go look at. But I put a whole packet of seashell Cosmos on this area. And then I'm growing some phlox here, which is cool. I think I've got that bed pretty well. I'm going to do this, what are these called? Geraniums? I think these are called geraniums. They're probably just out of the camera shot here. I'm just to the left side of the screen, just out of shot by the bird bath. But these plants matter too, and I need to water them. I've got an heirloom rose over here that I'm so happy with. It doesn't have any kind of weird black spot on the leaves. I mulched it. I'm not really happy with what the Nepeta in front of it is doing that I planted because it looks withering, like it's not happy from the transplant. But the rose, I think I got in to the ground while it's been cold enough here in Florida. And oh, I can't water over by where the camera is because I'll get the legs of the tripod wet. I got scolded over that pretty bad. Last time. Okay. So anyway, but I've got a lemon balm, some sweet alyssum, and some seeds going over there. So I want to make sure that I don't skip them. And then right here by this painted rose, which is seeing some leaf discoloration and it's getting a little withered faster. I am hitting the leaves a bit right now in my watering, which I know is not good, but I'm trying to just make sure that I direct my water down in there. And it is early enough in the day where the air is going to just breeze right through there. Be cool if I had like a garden fan to throw on it. Well, so anyways, there's probably a lot of natural seeds just in here because last year I had cosmos and tithonias right here. But I scattered some cosmos seeds in this bed and some of them are coming up. And then I also put in some basil and some of that's coming up. You know what? In that area where I said I'd put the zinnias, I'm I think I'm going to put in some Thai basil into this front bed and see what happens. Because I'd like to have basil everywhere. And I think that Thai basil is like particularly lovely. Like it has a particularly lovely smell. Then up here, I need to do this window. Ooh, I'm going to have to come out here with like a sponge. I've been doing all the sills, the window sills, and I've been doing all the washing of the windows on the inside and out. And I've been trying to dust off all the blinds on the insides and stuff because that is such a dust magnet. And you really have to clean that every so often. But that's what I've been kind of working on. I've also been doing something where I've taken off the like the grate to the air conditioning and stuff, like the air vents. Yeah, I've taken those off and I started kind of scrubbing them. But I think I'm going to buy a Rust-Oleum or some kind of metal spray paint, semi-gloss style, white, and I'm just going to repaint them so that they can match the ceiling and be like kind of freshened up with like the way that they're supposed to look in there. Because I was painting, and actually that was my motive for cleaning, which is so tough when you live with like kids and stuff because you spend so much time preparing, and then by the time you turn around, um, it's already messy again. So did a lot of laundry yesterday to get that really structured, and then just stay on people and go like, hey, who left that pair of socks on the ground? Okay, righty tighty enough. There is a unique little milkweed seed that landed over by the water spigot. And it's so cool because it's just planted, like sprouted one plant there. And then every time I water every day, it just gets the drip of the hose that isn't quite tightened well enough there. Okay, so I'm looking in, sorry for all the tisking and tasking, but I'm just kind of assessing and just coming, school bus coming down the road. Okay, yeah, I'm assessing this. There are some weeds that are like kind of trying to creep in. I'm actually pretty happy that when I got down at like another level, I can see something sprouted here that I don't know what it is yet, but it looks like a flower seed. There's a lot of weeds that are coming up. I need to identify this particular weed because it's like a ground cover and it comes up with like the three leaves, and then I pluck it every time. And then if you let it get big, it turns into like a bigger weed with these little yellow flowers on it. And it's not ugly at all. Like it's really pretty actually, but I haven't really tried to use it in the beds as a ground cover. I wouldn't. I'd more like let it take over the lawn. I don't care. Mm. And have another sip of coffee. Then the other thing I want to do is water the peppers. I'm kind of trying to go around and just make sure that I'm not leaving anybody out. And then one of these days here, we're supposed to get a significant amount of rain because I heard something like 5 inches is on the way. Oh, okay. So this is really pretty. It's just off camera, but I've got a cosmos here that has, let me just count, 8 buds. And that is going to be very pretty when that flowers fully. I wonder if I could just take you around in the tripod and hold the camera, see if you could see it that way. Hey. Hello, Radha Krishna Das. Welcome to the live. This is Southwest Florida. Let's get a view of some of these pretty flowers. This is a queen's wreath, which I bought from a shop at the Butterfly Estates. And then I think I saw on TikTok that they're opening that again. So I'd like to do that. Look how lovely that is. This is a vining flower that blooms in spring till summer. And this is its second show of flowers. We actually had a really nice show of flowers in February, and now those died back. So I contemplated trimming the whole thing and just cutting it way back because I have it in a little bit of a. Oh, hi. Thank you for joining. I think I got a new hi. Yeah. Beneficial kiddos. Welcome. Welcome to the live. Like there's a hibiscus getting ready to flower. So I was just going to go around and show you actually some of the flowers that we just watered. I'm holding the tripod though, and I'm going to grab my coffee. So let me situate a little bit better. And things are in disarray slightly because the trash collection came. So I got cans out. Okay. So here's a little corner where I have an heirloom rose. I tried to put some Nepeta in. There's a milkweed because they really are invasive. And then I've thrown a couple of like double click cosmos seeds all around. So I'm trying to wait and see what comes up. I've got a calibrachoa in between two fern lavenders, some vinca, and some more cosmos in the back. So then there's this long strip that I've done that goes all the way to the curb. And at first, I started out with zinnias here. And then as I got more into gardening, I started plugging in other stuff. And now it's not so much of a show, but it's a work in progress, which I don't mind. These blanket flowers self seeded from an original plant that I bought. And I wish that more of them would self seed because I don't know why. For some reason, I don't get a lot of them, but I'm happy that those came up. Then in this mulched area, I put in some Rudbeckia plugs that I've grown from seed, and I had them in another area, so I transplanted them in. Look at these jacaranda flowers. The jacaranda is blooming too, but I don't know if, okay, here's a little patch of flowers. This is special to be able to see an up close view of jacaranda flowers because I'm holding the tripod was the only reason I can even reach this high to show you anyway. But back down to this bed, what we're looking at are some parsley, zinnias, scabiosa, alyssum. There's a daisy down there, cosmos, more parsley, some calendula. There's a milkweed flowering. And I've been seeing a ton of monarchs too, which I'm chuffed about. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Okay, then here is like Rudbeckia row, and I need to learn a little better on how to care for Rudbeckias because I think they're like a cut and come again. I'm sure that they are. But this flower has got a little bit of speckles on it. Hope it's not diseased. Okay, and then down here is a penta. This is a smaller one, but it didn't really do as well. The bigger plant that's now had time to mature is doing really well. And then this is the bougainvillea or bougainvillea. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna come around here. Oh no, my phone is like mad at me because I moved the screen. Okay, so just showing off the cosmos and trying to give a good view of all the plants that we just watered. Let's go over to this bed because this is really where I wanted to kind of be. This is underneath the poinciana. Got some phlox that's doing its thing down there. And then here's a new dahlia opening. That's really pretty. I kind of caged it, but it didn't get in very well. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Then in here is a bit of a celosia patch. Okay, the glads are about done. TBH. The tithonia. I think tithonias are one of my favorite flowers. And then, yeah, my zinnias have quite a bit of powdery mildew, so I don't know if I just kept watering the leaves or what happened there. But there's some Rebecchias that are flowering. That one will open soon. I actually just kind of, those ones I plugged in, but over here I randomly scattered seeds and I have such a clumping of all of them together. Because there's zinnias here. No, those are not zinnias. Cosmos. None of them have flowered yet, but that's going to be quite a show. Down in there, there's some sneaky rudbeckias, nasturtium, amaranth, love in a mist, vinca, or cosmos, or marigolds. Yeah, but that cluster of flowers is this is one of my favorite spots recently. Okay. And then here's a few cosmos starts, little baby plants. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk up here. And let's see how things are doing. There's a mockingbird. Hello, birdie. Tweet, tweet. Duranta here. Golden dewdrops. I need to trim off that sucker off the bottom. This is a bed I'm developing here. Okay. I feel like my coffee needs like either a warm up or like a 20 seconds in the microwave. Hmm. Oh well. I had a really hard time pouring the coffee this morning. Like I came out in the dark, my eyes weren't fully adjusted, and then I ended up pouring too much creamer into Adam's cup. Okay, well, I just took quite a bit of the hose off, like down. So we'll see if we could just give everything a little drink because we are expecting rain, but so were we yesterday, expecting rain, and we didn't get any. So today I'm going to try to just do what I did yesterday. Ooh, oh God. This is not good what I got going. Hang on. I have a plumeria growing out of a growing out of a giant pot. Let me see if I can pull it to the view of the camera. Look at this. Anyway, it just like tipped at a wire, but we have a wire loose. There's some work being done here on the faucet. I'm gonna do a ponytail. What a beautiful morning. Wow. This is kind of cool. You do a ponytail, you look up, you get to take a look at the sky. And I heard it's one of the top health tricks to, like, pretty much as soon as you wake up and the sun is just also coming up, that you have to get outside and you have to let your eyes, like the retina, receive the morning light. That for health and wellness, that's like the top, probably just like one of the top tricks that you can do to make sure that you are healthy and that you have like a good circadian rhythm is to come out into the morning and let the sunlight touch your eyes without anything on. No sunglasses, not even, I wouldn't even say contacts or glasses. Just come out to the garden space with your eyes open and let that healing sunlight touch your retinas. Okay, so I set up my camera. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting the mic. I set up my camera shot to include like this whole strip here. Gosh, this bed needs so much work. I have some I have some sunflower seeds in an online shopping cart because for the last 2 years I've steadily grown a lot of sunflowers right here. And I love that because it kind of does a natural hedge. Everybody loves it. The kids next door get to experience it. Brings in a lot more butterflies. They're cool to look at. You get to see a changing landscape every day. There's just more reasons to grow them than not. Um, but this year, I don't really have that going on yet. Okay, because I was trying to grow some hollyhocks in here. And I can understand why only a couple have kind of made it. And that actually makes me really happy because now that I've got a couple hollyhocks here. I need to research this too. Like, I don't know if I need to buy like a medication, like a antifungal. I don't know. Maybe I could even try doing like a peroxide wash or something, but I've got some issues on the leaves and I've never grown hollyhocks before, but I put in these seeds and I've gotten one plant that's doing better than the rest. But then I've got another few plants all around too. So I'm just trying to make the most of that um, and support that plant. And I hope I don't have to lose it because I would love to have the look of some hollyhocks here. And then once you get some of them, it's inevitable that your yard will just start to have more because the seeds will fall off and you'll end up getting just a lot of them. So, I mean, everybody wants a clusia hedge in South Florida, but while I'm building the hedge, or like in companion to it, honestly, I'm gonna be plugging in a bunch of other stuff. Okay, and then over here, we've let some radishes go to seed, and those are cool. I enjoyed in one of the videos that we did, someone commented that you can eat them, and I had researched that just after that too. So it's awesome because we were eating the radish pods and they're really delicious. Like if I would have known that earlier on, I might have harvested a bunch of them instead of only eating like two. But I'm gonna keep an eye out for the next time the plant does that. Oh no, here's a snail. I'm gonna remove it, and I'm sorry for the snail. Just gonna throw it over there. I know that wasn't even really effective because it'll just come back or make more, but that's what I did right now. Yeah, this area over here is an arch. We've had the arch about 1 year. Shout out to our friend Rohan who let us borrow his post digger. What was it called? Not post digger, driver, me. And so we've got these arches, And then I scattered some Rudbeckia seeds right here. Gosh, you know what? I'd really like to move this Rudbeckia that's too close to the rows. And then I'd like to put some more dirt into here because I took out Rudbeckias that I had the babies of, you know? And then when I did that, it left kind of some gaping holes into the bed. So I do need to come in there and replenish that. And then this is a bed that I do really intend to work more now, and maybe even plug in the sunflowers here because this area is pretty good. It gets a lot of sun. And then, well, what's kind of tough about it is that it's on a hill. So there's some areas of the strip get more water than others because of that, like more moisture. So there are definitely some areas that get very dry, but sometimes like that. And yeah, I've got a little celosia here. I don't know which one it is. I got like think pink and mega magenta. They're like some brain looking ones. Coxcomb. One of them I think is coxcomb. The other, well, yeah, but like there's one that looks like a total brain. So let's see if I can grow any of that. That will be cool. And then the cucumbers, or not, yeah, cucumbers. They are needing some water, but some of them are going. The leaves are getting a little bit brown. So I don't know what that's about. I'm just watering this bed that's right out of the shot, but I'm going to just quickly do this before I turn the hose to the peppers. Okay, this is our little pepper patch this year. We've got some yellow bell peppers, some poblano peppers, hot cayenne. I've got a Thai hot. I think one is a ghost pepper, habanero like style. And then in the back, we do have some jalapenos in the stacky, but I will say the stacky didn't have enough nutrients. And so those plants didn't really do as well as they could. And then, so with the stacky ones, we do have jalapenos, but I'd probably like to get another couple jalapeno plants to plug into a better spot. And then that way we could try to get those to perennialize. Because in zone 10, how like peppers will just keep going year round if you take care of the plant. Wow, that's amazing. Like I just see right here in the tomato a milkweed seed, which I think I just dropped. So there will likely be a new milkweed. Another thing that's seeded a lot in here, which I like to see, is borage. I'm wondering if I can save any of it and plug it in on some other spots because borage is so pretty and it's a really good companion plant. I love the blue petals on the flowers, and those are edible. I wanted to make those bougie borage cubes, ice cubes. I wish I had another alliteration like bougie borage. I don't know what you call them those. All right. I think I might conclude the live just because now I've got to regroup on this whole other area here. Um, oh, that didn't do well, but maybe if I water it, it'll bounce back. I don't know. Um, one day we were just looking here and we saw a passion fruit vine over here. And it's weird because they say like the seeds are tough to germinate. And it's true because I had tried to grow some unsuccessfully last year. And from seed. And then on Mother's Day, not this last one, but the one before, um, Adam drove Juliet and I and Rose to the garden center, Driftwood, fancy one, and she bought me a $30 passion flower vine on a little trellis. It was a bigger, more established plant, so we put it in the ground because my idea was that's edible. We can get some fruit out of it. The butterfly plant, but my experience with it has not been as like easy because the Gulf fritillary butterflies have continued to devour it the last 2 years in a row. And then we do actually have one fruit right now, right here, but it's been like everywhere has been eaten. So I was glad because it bounced back. But like if I stand right here right now and I just look at this plant and see, I'm telling you, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 Gulf fritillaries that I can see right now are munching on the leaves of this plant. So there will not be much left of it soon, like for long. And then we'll just have to see where it rebounds from. So yeah, my experience with growing passion flower vine, I don't want to say hasn't been the best, but it's been a little bit challenging because it hasn't looked good for long, being that it gets demolished every time. And then we haven't been able to get any fruit, and we don't really get to see even the flowers because by the time it starts to kind of do something, the butterfly caterpillars are just have totally destroyed it. So yeah, I'm not likely to try to kill the caterpillars or remove them or anything. That would be missing the point, I think. So I'm over here at the stackies and I'm just going to give everybody a drink because if I don't, these will dry out so bad and then um, we won't have anything here. It'll just be toast. I'd like to come in with some fertilizer. I did buy a fish fertilizer and I also bought, well, Adam got it for us. It's called Humate, and I've never really heard of it before, but we were at the flea market. That sounds good already. We were at the flea market and we saw this sign that was like, hey, gardeners, like, do you like to garden? If so, have I got something for you? And it's like this really intriguing message on the whiteboard. So you start reading it right away. That's actually a really good idea, like for advertising, just because it's like low effort and simple, but it really grabs the attention. Like, that might be something that I work on in advertisements because I'm in this phase right now where I'm working on my communication. And that's really like a lot of the thing, what's going on with like these lives, because I know that, well, I don't even have like a real desire to be, definitely don't have a desire to be famous. I know that like fame brings wealth, and wealth is necessary because we survive in a world um, for money. But then there are things that are more important, than money too, and that money can't buy. And like self development and stuff like that, sometimes those are the best because you really can't cheat your way through it. Like, you have to look at the shadow side of who you are and decide, like, do I want something different? Do I want something more? What is this about? What's the driving force? But okay, and I was doing my astrology too, and that's really the thing about it, is that I was learning about why communication is important for my self development. And so something happened this year where I started the YouTube with Adam and Adam's encouragement. And then I got on the podcast equipment with Adam to talk about gardening. And I started developing the Jades World concept because I like the idea of being able to see something through another person's lens. And that's been a storyline that I've been working on. Like, for example, on my Instagram, I started looking at it a little more differently, like evolution of the page, where it's tough because in the line of work that I do and like in sales, you're expected to be online. But sometimes, you'd rather not. And also, like, in this world where, um, like, my generation growing up, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones until later. My first cell phone, I think I was like 21 years old by the time I even owned a cell phone, which seems like kind of crazy too, because like a lot of people I knew had cell phones and I just didn't. But I don't know if it's that I couldn't afford it at that time. It was kind of like a newer, not newer technology, but like if you have boomer parents or, and parents who weren't like really trying to set you up with that, like now, fourth graders have cell phones and their parents like want them to have that so that they can have safety and assurances from their child throughout the day. And so you're pretty much given a cell phone. And a lot of times it might be like one that gets passed down when the parent gets their new cell phone. And it's really more of a common thing. But like in high school, I did not have a cell phone. And it's kind of interesting when you think about it. But there's a way of life that really exists beyond just being glued to your device all the time. I know I'm on a stream of YouTube and I like that people are watching it with me and hanging out with me. And I'm sorry I can't see the chat. Like, if anybody's saying anything, you could leave like a comment on something maybe. And trying to get better about that. And I want to, because another storyline unfolding in my astrology is my Gemini seventh house. And we are in Gemini season right now. And so that has to do with like partnerships, friendships, one-on-one relationships, leaning into those